Hello everyone. Welcome to this, which is the final Festive Friday video for 2023. Our project today is inspired by a couple of things. First of all, by my Christmas card drawing from last year. So this is last year's Christmas card here in the center. And this is a drawing that I did, and I used some glaze ink on the berries to keep the paper white, and I painted over it with some Peerless watercolor. So this was last year's Christmas card, and it's basically mistletoe. So this is what we're going to draw, is something very similar to this, and we're going to do it on black paper, and we are going to use a gold pen for our lines. This is a Gelly Roll metallic gold. It's number 551. We're also going to use a Gelly Roll Moonlight pen in this kind of green color, which is number 432. And we're also going to use a glitter pen, one of Sakura Stardust Gelly Roll pens, and the number on this one is 703. So this is what we're using. We're using, I'm using a black Phi tile today. This is one of Zentangle's Phi tiles. They measure 3 by 5. If you don't have a tile, you can always cut some paper. I drew this one on some black paper that I cut. It's not real heavy paper, and so I probably would not put any watercolor or wet medium on this, but it takes the ink pretty well. And if you don't have black, you can also do it in white paper. This is one that I did, just a 3 by 5 piece of white paper. And I used my gold pen for the line, and I used my glitter pens for the filling in the spaces. So hopefully you will take some time for yourself today and draw along with us. I want to go ahead and clear my table here and take you through just a little bit of a breathing exercise. So if you want to just get comfortable where you are, if you're comfortable closing your eyes, go ahead and do that. And we'll start with a few deep breaths, breathing in very slowly and filling your lungs with air. And when you exhale, again, slowly, and just release all of your tension and worry as you release that air. So let's go ahead and begin. Breathing in, filling up, and breathing out. And again, breathing in, sitting up tall as you breathe in, and then just relax as you exhale. And one more big breath in and out. And now just let your breath fall into its natural rhythm. And think ease and flow. And just relax. And now take a moment and think about something that makes you happy. And when you find that thing, that thought, hold on to it and really feel into it. What does that feel like? I know it makes you happy. As we draw today, I want you to bring this feeling into your drawing, into your practice. And especially if you find yourself a little flustered at any time, just stop yourself, take a deep breath, and focus on that feeling. And then when you're ready, go ahead and begin again. And with that, I think we're ready to begin. So I've got my black Zentangle Phi tile. And we're going to use the Zentangle method as much as possible, even though today we're doing a Zentangle inspired art project. So I've got my gold pen, and I know it's working because I had tried it first on a little piece of scratch paper. Just kind of make sure it's flowing well. Then I'm going to go ahead and move on to step 2 of the Zentangle method and actually put a dot with my gold pen in each of the corners. Now you don't have to do this. I didn't do it on all of mine, but I kind of like to have this boundary. Remember, step 3 is our border as we connect the dots from step 2. And I'm going around slowly with my gold pen to connect these dots. And when I get to the bottom, I'm going to do a little curly cue for my frame. Just to give it a little bit of added interest. I'm going to draw this very much like I drew my Verdigogh tangle. And Zentangle also has another pattern called Pendrils. And I've kind of combined these two to make my pattern, which isn't really a pattern. It's just kind of something I drew to come up with this. And the way I'm drawing it today, the reason I'm using kind of a pendril type tangle is because I was inspired by another CZT, Annie Reiser. She is known as Botangle on YouTube. She does botanical work as well as being a certified Zentangle teacher. And she has a new tangle she calls Mistley, kind of a combination of Zentangle's Pendrils pattern and a botanical take on it, turning it into a tangle that looks like mistletoe. So mine is not nearly as well done as hers. I'm not really copying Mistley, but I wanted to give her a shout out because she was part of the inspiration that helped me to kind of change the way I drew the stem on my pattern. So thank you, Annie, and I wanted to let you all know she has some wonderful videos on her YouTube channel, Botangle. I'll put a link to it in my description below so you can hop on over and take a peek at some of her videos too. We begin the pattern with just kind of a stem. I come down from one corner and I go as far as you like. I'm about 2/3 of the way, I suppose. And then I'm going to aura that to make my stem. And now at the bottom of the stem, this is where like the Pendrils or the Mistley connection comes in. She puts a little cap on it. Now she does more stuff and adds different branches, but I'm keeping mine kind of simple, and I'm just going to add my leaves right to this little cap. Now the leaves are going to come down and have this almost teardrop shape or paisley shape, I guess. And I'm going to draw a line down the center of each of these leaves. Now I'm going to go ahead and draw another stem. And this one will kind of go behind the first one. It's going to be a little bit curvier. Put my cap on it, make my little aura. Draw my line down the center. Okay, now I'm going to come up here and I'm going to do another one. And this will go behind both of these. Okay, now I want to do some berries. And what I'm going to do is first I'm going to draw some circles for my berries. And I'll kind of do them in little clusters. I'll do another cluster over here. And then I'm going to come back up and draw kind of a stem for these. And I'm looking at it, and like mentioned before, that sometimes I like to step back and just kind of take a look at what I've drawn. And I think I'm going to go ahead and add some more lines to our leaves. So instead of just one, I'm going to go ahead and add a couple more. Now remember, this gel ink from this gold pen is going to be wet for just that quick minute or two. So you want to be careful not to smear it with your hand. Okay, let's do another one here. And these lines can give a little bit of shape to your leaves. Okay, I think I'm happier with this. So I'm going to put my pen down, done with my gold pen. Make sure I snap that lid on good. And now I'm going to pick up my Moonlight Jelly Roll pen. Now these Moonlight pens have a finer tip, a finer nib. So the gold lines are pretty wide. But this one is going to be a little bit finer as I work on it. So what I'm going to use this for is to fill in the black spaces between the gold lines on my leaves. So that's where I'm going to begin. And I'm using a very, very light touch and circular motions. You can see as I go back over, if it's wet, then I kind of get a bit of a scratchy look. I'm trying to avoid that. But on the other hand, this is going to be layer one. I'm going to add another layer on top once this is dry. So I'm just filling this in between these lines. Now, if you want, you can leave a little bit of black space between this green ink or whatever color you're using and the gold. And that helps to add a little bit of definition to the lines. But you can do it either way. There's no right or wrong way. It's really your art, so it depends on what you like. And that's what you should do. Create the way you enjoy creating. Now, I did a little bit of research while I was considering this idea for my Festive Friday. And I was curious. Actually, the reason I decided to go ahead and use this was because I thought, you know, it's going to be after Christmas when you guys see this. It'll be before New Year's. So it's kind of a celebration. I thought, you know, what if I look up symbols and things that are associated with the solstice? The solstice just passed us, and now the days are getting longer. The sun is staying up longer, which is nice. It helps to warm things up a little bit. And we all love the sun. At least I know I do. So anyway, mistletoe is a symbol of the solstice. It's a symbol of the Yule season, which is related to solstice. And it goes all the way back to the Druids. And if you believe that the Druids worshipped at Stonehenge, they say Stonehenge goes back to 2500 BC. So that's having been around a while. That's a few years here on this planet. So the Druids revered mistletoe. They believed it had magical powers. They used it for healing. They used it in their ceremonies. Mistletoe as a plant is a parasite and sometimes will kill the host tree. Certainly, most trees infested with mistletoe will die quicker, which is actually beneficial to the forest overall. There are more than 1,300 species of mistletoe, and over 20 of them are endangered. And let's see, the berries, the white berries, are poisonous to humans. However, they are favored for deer and elk and squirrels and all sorts of winter animals that need to be fed. One of the things that mistletoe symbolizes is renewal, rebirth. That's because during the fall and winter months, when a lot of the trees and other plants are going dormant and losing their leaves, etc., mistletoe continues to stay green and survive through the winter. So that's why it symbolizes that growth. It also symbolizes luck, prosperity, which is why it is often seen during the Yule season, the holidays. Solstice is a season of reflection and, renewal before the new year begins. And a lot of us do the same thing at this time of year as we look forward to the new year coming and the old year going away. So we still kind of follow some of those traditions. Mistletoe got its name from the Anglo-Saxon language. Mistle, meaning dung or poo, and tan, meaning twig. It's essentially dung on a twig translated. And that's how it spreads, is that it's carried by birds, and the bird droppings fall on the branches, and the branches become the new host. The tree becomes the new host for the parasite for the mistletoe. The Druids and those who kind of follow nature's religion, if you will, believe that it's bad luck to let it touch the ground, or it would lose its magical properties if it touched the ground. And that's why when people bring it into their homes, they hang it so it doesn't touch the ground. And let's see, in the 15th century is when they believe the custom of kissing under the mistletoe began. And they would take a berry off for every kiss. The kisses were to bring good luck. Each kiss, you removed a berry, and once the berries were gone, then so too was the magic from that sprig of mistletoe. So these are just some fun facts, I suppose, for you to know. I'm going to go ahead. I've got my green in between all of the lines on my leaves, and I'm going to go ahead now and put some green in the little caps. It looks like I've kind of covered over that one. And also on the stems. I'm just going to put like a small thin line, trying to leave a little bit of black so there's some dimension, or definition, I mean. Now, something we're not going to do today is shading. I'm not really doing any shading with this project, and that's okay. I kind of like the brilliant color of the Moonlight pen on top of the black. It's, I don't know, it stands out quite a bit, and I think it looks a little bit like stained glass if you have that black line still visible. Okay. One more stem. Okay, now I'm done with my green Moonlight pen, so I'm going to put that away. And I'm going to pick up my white gel pen. I forgot to tell you I'm going to use a white Jelly Roll pen. This is just a basic standard Jelly Roll white pen with an 08 nib, which means it's that wider nib, very much like our gold pen was. But this is an 08. And I'm going to use the white on the berries. And I'm going to just start in the middle, kind of grow that circle so it fills, leaving just a little thin black line between the white and the gold. And I'm trying not to use very much pressure at all. That ink is really just kind of flowing right out of the nib of the pen. And I'm going to work pretty quickly because once it starts to dry, then it's hard to add to it. It just gets a little scratchy. Okay, so now I have my white berries. put my white pen away. I'm going to kind of feel this. It feels a little bit dry. It doesn't take that long. It just takes a little second or two. So now I'm going to pick up my Gelly Roll Stardust pen. This is 703. It kind of looks like a yellow. And when you use it by itself here, let's see. It does kind of look yellow. Almost a yellow-green, I suppose. So now I'm going to come back and I'm going to go right over top of this Moonlight green with this yellow glitter pen or Stardust pen. Very, very light touch. And I'm putting it right on top of my Moonlight green. And what this does is it just really makes that green pop with sparkle. And putting the green under the yellow really just makes it look more green and also gives it a more solid base. Now when I finish this one, I'm going to show you something a little closer. So when you look at the other ones without the glitter ink, without the Stardust gel, it looks a little scratchy. You can kind of see the black coming through. So this glitter pen, the Stardust pen, just kind of takes care of that. Fills it in a little bit more solid. And you get the sparkle. And I think it just looks really nice. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to fill in the rest of my mistletoe leaves. And because that's going to take me a little minute, I'm going to go ahead and move to the end. If you are drawing along, please just pause the video and take your time and fill in your leaves. You can use, obviously, you can use whatever ink you like. You're not stuck. This project is good with lots of different options. But in the meantime, finish up drawing your leaves, filling them up, and I will be back when I'm done. And when you finish, then you can come back, unpause the video, and keep drawing. Okay, so I'm done putting my Stardust Gelly Roll ink on top of my Mistletoe green. Now I'm going to leave the mistletoe berries just with the white gel ink, but if you want them to sparkle, you could go ahead and use one of the clear Gelly Roll Stardust pens and just put clear gel ink right on top of that. That would give it a different look as well. Now I want to come back in here with my gold pen because there's a couple of places that I seem to lose that line when I added the green ink. One of them is here. So I just went over those lines, and that's okay. Maybe do the same thing here and here, just to make it look consistent. So if you have any areas where you're not happy with your line, go right ahead and fill it in with the gold ink. You just go right over top of it again. So we're not going to do any shading, like I mentioned. So I'm going to go ahead and put my chop on at this stage. I think I'm going to go ahead and just tuck it in down here. So there you go. I'm not going to turn it over because I don't want to smear the gold ink, but you could sign it on the back and There's really no tangle here. It's definitely Zentangle inspired art. Inspired kind of by a cross between Zentangle Pendrils pattern and Annie Reiser's Mistley pattern. But I hope you enjoyed it. I would love it if you drew along for you to share and on social, wherever you share, and just tag me so I can see it, either Brenda Campbell or Angel Whispers Art. I hope you have a fantastic Christmas and New Year's and Hanukkah and solstice and whatever you celebrate at this time of year. I hope you are blessed, and I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful week. Thanks again for watching, and remember, till next time, be you and be happy.